Hi guys, and welcome back to What Fuels a Dancer. My name is Leah, and I am a professional ballet dancer and a certified nutrition health coach. Now this is the second time I'm filming this video because I went to edit it this morning, and apparently my footage is all fuzzy because settings had changed. So I was a little sad for a moment, but I think it actually ended up being good because I feel I'm in a much better headspace today to talk about body image. So this is a series I have been wanting to do for a while and is really why I started What Fuels a Dancer and what kind of inspires me to do what I do. I know what it's like to feel trapped in feeling like you have to control every single aspect of your body in order to be successful and in order to make other people happy with your body and your performance. Even if this means that you have to adopt unhealthy methods in order to reach this aesthetic that you're told that you should have. Now, also when talking about body image, I have to admit that I do have certain privileges when it comes to this topic because I am naturally more lean and athletic, and I also don't have any physical hindrances that keep me from pursuing something at a high level like dance. And I'm also white, and I know that many dancers who are of color have very different experiences with body image than I have had in the dance world. And I've always had access to physical and mental health professionals who have been able to help me on this journey as well. So me talking about body images in dance is not going to capture every single dancer's experience, which is why I want to keep this conversation going and have other people on this channel who might have had different experiences from the one that I have had. And I also want to say that not every dancer who struggles with body image are also engaging in unhealthy habits and practices. But I think the two things are often linked and can be really common in a dancer's experience. And I also just want to put out that this video might not be right for all dancers at this current time right now in your journey of body image and relationship with food and with your body. Some sensitive subjects might come up in this video, so if you know that that will not be helpful for you right now, feel free to not watch this video. I have plenty of other videos on my channel that would be great for you to watch. And as always, I would always encourage you to talk to a doctor, a nutritionist, a dietitian, a health coach, or a counselor, or even just a friend or family member that you trust about what you're going through right now so that you can get the best care that you possibly can. And I would really appreciate it if you subscribed to the What Fuels a Dancer YouTube channel. I have a lot of really exciting videos coming out this year, including this whole series on body image. So if you're just subscribed, it makes sure that you never miss a video with me, and it also really supports me and the content that I make on here, which is really appreciated. So with all that being said, let's talk about body image. So first, I think it's helpful to discuss what exactly is body image. And body image is the perception that someone has about their physical self and the thoughts and feelings they experience as a result of this perception. And again, I think it's important to state that this is a perception. So how we see ourselves might not be what other people see about us and what might actually be reality. So body image is the way that you see yourself, how you feel about what you see, and the thoughts and beliefs that you hold about your body, as well as the things that you do in relation to all of these things. Even though sometimes we might not acknowledge it, the body image of a dancer is really intertwined with messaging that we receive inside and outside of the studio. Ballet is a visual art form, and it combines things like athleticism, movement, culture, emotion, artistry, and beauty. And that's what makes dance really special and unique. But this also means that we judge dance and this art form based on what we see, which are dancers' bodies. Because our bodies are quite literally the instrument that we use in order to express the art form of dance. And I think where we have gone wrong when looking at our bodies in terms of success in dance is that we think that for us to present this art in the best way possible, that we have to take on certain standards of physical attributes. And on top of that, a lot of the messaging that we get in the dance world often inherently tells us that we need to do everything in our power to look like the stereotypical dancer. And a lot of these traits that the typical or ideal dancer, especially ballet dancer, has are things that are really out of our control and are really based on genetics. So these are things such as long limbs, hyperextension, hip rotation, arched feet. So what this boils down to is when we can't change really those aspects of ourselves to that great of a degree, the one thing that we can change is our size. And so many dancers resort to well, if that's really the only thing that I can control, then that's what I need to focus on in order to be successful as a dancer. And so we get into this pattern of trying to control and manipulate our bodies in a way that is ultimately not great for our overall health and well-being. And it can turn up in things such as dieting or other disordered eating patterns, over-exercising, a poor relationship with food and with your body, and other harmful practices that dancers might try. What we are often not taught as dancers is that a certain body type in dance doesn't have to be equated with success. In actuality, when you're watching a dancer, their beauty on stage isn't portrayed by the size of their limbs or how tight their costume fits, but it's really the quality of movement and artistry that really catches our eye. So things like épaulement and emotion, movement quality, and musicality are all really what makes the great dancers that we know. Watching a really stick-thin but really stiff and uncomfortable looking dancer isn't necessarily enjoyable to watch. And I know, I used to be one of those dancers. But we get so caught up in what we see in the mirror and how we see ourselves in pictures or in a video, because we see how a dancer's size can sometimes be equated to casting changes or a company contract, or just overall attention by an artistic staff or by teachers. We give the perfect dancer body way too much credit as if it's the only body that is able to dance on stage or progress into a ballet company or perform certain parts on stage. And yes, watching a dancer who has beautiful hyperextension or is able to get their leg up by their ear or has the crazy arched feet, yeah, it can be beautiful to watch or to see, but if there's nothing beyond that, it's kind of lacking in terms of actually dancing. So many dancers often receive compliments from directors or teachers or even their peers when they get leaner, even if it's because of unhealthy habits. And unfortunately, this can kind of give us a positive affirmation to continue down this tightrope of balancing a healthy body and mind. We're also surrounded by this culture of perfection in dance, which often tells us that we need to be in the best shape possible long-term for the entire season. And really, this isn't sustainable. Our bodies naturally fluctuate and change throughout the year and even from day to day. So dancers might turn to unhealthy habits in order to try and control their body to keep this natural fluctuation from happening, especially when we are younger and especially when we are maturing into teenagers and adults. Many dancers deal with the uncomfortableness of their body changing by talking negatively about their body to their peers. I think some of it can be the need to feel complimented in order to feel more comfortable in our own skin. But I think some of it stems from this place that we aren't allowed to accept our bodies the way that they naturally are. This really hits home for me when I witness 9 and 10-year-olds who are talking negatively about their bodies with their peers before they're going into ballet class or a nutcracker rehearsal. I remember overhearing a kid say how their teacher wasn't going to like them because they were starting to have a little bit of a stomach. And these are kids, they're 9 and 10 years old. one, it's natural to have a stomach that isn't perfectly flat. And especially for females, having a super flat stomach might not actually be healthy for us. There's definitely a lot of debate on that, but it's really hard to hear kids who haven't even hit development yet, who are already criticizing their bodies. And this is something that they're likely going to take with them throughout their time in the studio, as well as into their adult years. So I want to create a whole video on my personal body image journey through dance, both positively and negatively. But I think it's important for me to talk a little bit about it here, because I was one of the dancers that thought I had to stay a certain size in order to be successful. In fact, I felt like I was really only complimented on my thinness, really, and my dedication, and I guess like rigidness in my routine in order to maintain this unhealthy shape. So not only did I feel stuck because I felt like I had to maintain this certain look that wasn't maintainable or healthy for my body, but I felt like the only way that I could be confident in my dancing was to be small. And in reality, this turned from me focusing on steps and technique and ballet and, focusing on developing my artistry. Dance primarily became me criticizing myself in the mirror. And it wasn't until I had left dance for a period of time and I thought I was done dancing, but in reality, I think I just needed a break for my own physical and mental and emotional health, that I began to remember why I loved dancing in the first place. And ironically, I actually began to arguably dance better, not because my technique improved or that I looked the same way that I did when I was 18, but it was really because I had so much confidence and joy when I was dancing in the studio and on stage, and I had more energy to focus on things like musicality and really connecting with the music and other dancers on stage. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that I don't have days where I look down on my body or I have what I call bad body image days, but they're definitely fewer and farther in between, and I have tools that I know that I can use to think through these thoughts before they become thought patterns that develop into unhealthy habits. So regardless if you are a seasoned professional dancer or if you were someone who just took dance classes recreationally as a child or a teenager or an adult, the way that we are taught about our bodies in dance can be carried with us for the rest of our life. And I think it's the responsibility of directors and artistic staff, teachers, and even dance parents to really teach their dancers how to have a healthy relationship with food and with their body. This is such an important issue that can impact a dancer's physical, mental, and emotional health and well-being even decades after they step foot outside of the studio. I think what we're starting to realize now is not only do we need to change the mindset of dancers surrounding the stereotypical ballet dancer body, but we also need to change the ideals and expectations that artistic staff has about dancers' bodies. And for real change to occur, we need to address this issue of body image throughout the entire dance organization. And this can really only begin once we have spaces where we can openly talk about these issues that are occurring in dance, and really how we can develop a healthy body image in arts organizations. So in the next video in this series, I want to talk more in depth about my experience with body image, in hopes that it might be able to help a few dancers who feel like they're completely alone in struggling with their body image. I also, in this series, want to talk about the struggles that dancers can face throughout their development in terms of coming to terms with their changing body, as well as how we can start shifting our thoughts and ideas to a more healthy body image, as well as how to cope with expectations that might not be healthy for our body in the dance world. So when we start to look at uprooting the many layers that dance has taught us about body image, it can be a little bit overwhelming seeing just how pervasive this is in dance culture in general. And it can be really daunting and really hard to conceptualize change actually happening. But there are so many dancers who are of my generation or the generation that is above mine or below mine who are really passionate about creating arts organizations that really nurture dancers, not just in terms of their technique and artistry, but also them as a healthy individual outside of the studio. And my hope is that the more that we talk about how dance standards for bodies can be unrealistic and unhealthy, the more that we can begin to change them and make dance a place that is better, safer, and more constructive for dancers to grow as individuals. So as always, I appreciate you guys so much for being here, and make sure to not only subscribe down below, but also to follow me on Facebook and Instagram at What Feels Dancer. And if you have any questions about body image, know that you can always reach out to me personally, or you can just comment down below if you have any questions. And I just want to end this video by saying, you are beautiful and perfect just the way you are. You don't need to change your body physically in order to be a beautiful dancer. And with all that being said, I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys. Oh, Louie's whining. That was me this morning. Louie. So it was kind of a bummer. Oh my gosh, I can't. Louie.